Good evening. My name is Adrian Burton.
Yes, carry on, Mr. Burton.
In what I shall term the rubbish bin rescission decision made in this chamber several months ago, our council essentially established the important operating principle that proper process was paramount and a decision could be overturned if a majority of elected members considered that prior to important decisions being made, there was an inadequate quality and or quantity of genuine community consultation. Part of a recommendation within item 16.1.5 of the April 2016 agenda is that Council endorse the Local Government Association of South Australia submission forwarded in July of 2015 to the Shadow Minister for Local Government and the local member with respect to the most important and sensitive matter of capping council rates. In effect, this means it has been recommended that our council support a clear position to oppose rate capping in all forms. In view of the prominent precedent referred to above, could I please be given an outline of the process of genuine grassroots community consultation that may have been undertaken that could offer our elected members a community mandate to vote either for or against rate capping?
Thank you very much for your questions. If I may get Director Jessup to cover off on them.
Thank you, Your Worship. Thank you for the question. The issue of rate capping as referred to in the Council agenda tonight is ultimately a state government decision. At the last state election, people may recall around the time of the election campaign that the state opposition party announced a local government rate capping position at that point. Last year, the state government initiated an inquiry into rate capping. This inquiry is not yet complete. This has been a public inquiry by the Economic and Finance Committee. So Council and the public were also advised of the inquiry by the Local Government of South Australia, as well as the whatever promotion that the state government did on the matter. And as you noted in the agenda, given the short time frame on behalf of Council, I put a submission in at the time of that public consultation, which, as you have read in the agenda, doesn't purport to take a position for or against rate capping, but highlights some of the potential advantages, disadvantages and risks associated with rate capping, and recommends some considerations. The LGA of South Australia also published their rate capping submission via their website at the time and advised Council and the public via that circular. As you can, and obviously both those submissions were on the public website and still are today. The issue of rate, as you can see from the LGA submission, the issue of rate capping is complicated. It was and still is anticipated that in due course the inquiry will report to Parliament and that they may then be further community engagement and or draft bill regarding the matter. What wasn't anticipated was that the state, well, perhaps it should have been, it's always easy in hindsight, was that the state opposition would table a bill and provide, before that inquiry was finished, and provide less than 2 months to provide feedback. It's my view that it's not possible to undertake effective local level community consultation on such a complex matter in that time frame. Normally, when complex state matters arise, the LGA of South Australia will prepare community consultation materials to ensure a cost-effective and consistent sector-wide approach is used. Our council does not generally have the resources to prepare for such a community consultation process in itself. It's just beyond our resources to do that. So Mr. Burton is correct, as the council has not undertaken public consultation on the matter. When the council gets to this agenda item, they will need to consider if it is in a position to support the position of its peak body, the Local Government Association of South Australia, and their position on the matter of rate capping. And because my recommendation is just a start point for the council, and I'm required to give a start point. The council may consider that it is able to support its peak body on the basis that the community consultation it has undertaken locally on its current long-term financial plan, our community plan, and the requirements of the council as prescribed in the Local Government Act and regulations. At the end of the day, that position of the corporate entity being council may not necessarily be the same as the general feeling of the community on these matters. The council may also consider that it is not necessary to take a position at this point in time.
Thank you, Director Bishop. And I believe there's another question to you, sir.
Yes, may I make a comment with respect to the answer that I've been given, please?
Very brief one, yes.
Very briefly, 2 points. First of all, Council's known for 9 months about this. And secondly, there is no possible shadow of a doubt that there is a recommendation in this agenda which is to support the LGA submission, and that submission quite clearly is opposed to rate capping in any form. And that matter has not been taken at all to the community.
Your Worship, I don't think I said anything. Yes. Your Worship, I don't believe I said anything contrary to that.
No, I'm just...
Yep.
That's...
And it hasn't been, and it has been a state government public process for that period of time.
Yes, thank you. Your second question, thank you, sir.
On the 22nd of May 2015, our administration was alerted to a state government inquiry into rate capping, with responses requested by the 10th of June 2015. Due to the short time frame, the Director of Corporate and Community Services wrote and lodged a submission dated the 28th of May 2015 on behalf of Council. In late March of 2016, the South Australian Local Government Rate Increases Amendment Bill 2016 was introduced into Parliament. On the 1st of April 2016, Council received a letter from the Shadow Minister regarding the bill and encouraging feedback from Council before the matter is next debated in Parliament, which is expected on the 26th of May 2016. My question: in view of the fact that the submissions forwarded by both the Local Government Association and on behalf of our Council were written and lodged approximately 9 months ago, could an explanation please be provided outlining the reasons why these 2 submissions appear to have suddenly been presented to both our elected members and the general community a week before it is recommended that they be supported and endorsed, apparently without any community consultation about such an important and sensitive matter as rate capping?
Thank you. I might get Director Jessup to respond to that question.
Thank you, Worship, and thank you for the question. I think I've answered a fair part of that question in the first answer, but if I could just briefly add a couple more points. While the LGA South Australia submission and the submission made on behalf of City Victor Harbour have both been publicly available for many months, there was no impetus to bring these matters specifically to the Council prior to the unexpected tabling of the bill by the State Opposition last month. It had been assumed that the Economic and Finance Committee inquiry into local government rate capping would be finalised and communicated before any draft bill was tabled by either party. However, now that the bill has been tabled, it is recommended that the Council should give consideration to and influence the shape of the bill, which, if not successful now, I would suggest is highly likely to be retabled if there is a change of government at the next state election. So I guess in the report, that's exactly what the purpose of these questions are, is to draw out these things before we get to that report. There's 2 quite separate matters for the Council to consider, and as I said, in relation to whether or not Council wants to take a position on the merits of rate capping is one matter which you may or may not decide you want to make a position on tonight, and the second part, which I recommended, is that regardless of the politics of it all, there is a bill before Parliament, and I would encourage the Council to be influencing the shape of that bill.
Thank you, Director. Thank you, Mr. Burton. Thank you.
Can I just make a quick comment on that, please?
Yes, sir.
I just think it's inappropriate that our elected members respond without undertaking any community consultation whatsoever. They've got no idea what the community view is about rate capping.
Thank you. that would be the last